This palace garden, imperial garden, is very unique in the world, and for me it's a way also to discover Korean culture, to try to connect with this beautiful pond, what is quite unique, this idea of making something very peaceful, relaxed, open to the public, to everybody. So it's a way to discover the time also to enjoy maybe an idea of contemplation and relaxation, what is important in this work, to try to escape to the city, in fact, to the craziness of the city, and to come to the garden, what is the meaning of almost all garden in the world. And this one is very special because it's very a close world. It's all around this island in the center. So that's why I wanted to put the necklaces in this island, to make it like a very unique place you want to enjoy and you want to discover as a treasure of this part of the garden. And that's why I call the show Treasure Garden also, because it's a real treasure in a real garden. But in the museum, it's another type of treasure, more a treasure of symbolic and maybe something more conceptual in a way. But here it's very physical. It's something you need to feel by yourself. You need to be in the middle of this pond to enjoy those beautiful sculptures were relating to nature. Because gold is a color, but it's also a real material. It's a stone. So it's really linked to the earth, to the element. The shape of the sculptures are based on the lotus flower or rose flower. And it's in some sculpture, it's like the bloom, and the other, it's a full flower open. So you can also feel the rhythm of the day. And when you come here in the garden in the morning, all the flowers are open, but in the afternoon they all close. So you can have the same feeling also with the sculpture. Some are closed and other are open. And I think it's a unique place in the world, and very proud and honored to be here. What is very unique in the Seoul Museum of Art is it's surrounded by a beautiful garden. So I was happy to hang in the trees some of my necklaces. So it's a link between the Deoksugung Palace and the museum. So it came from nature. Nature is making the link. And here the trees are less flamboyant than the one in the Deoksugung Palace. It's more normal tree. And I love the work bring sort of royalty to those very humble trees, and it's something I really want to offer to the public. And here at the entrance you have two big sculptures at the entrance of the museum. One is the knot of Babel, and the other is a knot of imaginary. And Babel is a knot was supposed to relink the people all together, instead of the story of Babel where everybody was when the tower fell down, everybody has his own language and was not able to communicate. And I tried with this knot to make the communication again between different people. And the knot of imaginary, it's obvious, it's because making a show, it's bringing people to the world of imaginations. So it's a way to welcoming the people here in the museum. Yes, so the exhibition is on three sites, three gardens. In fact, the first is the Palace Imperial Garden in the palace, the one around the museum, and now we are inside the museum, which is like a garden of imagination. And in this part of the exhibition, I start the exhibition with this huge necklace, what is in fact, like if the necklaces come from the trees and became a sculpture by itself. It's not hanging anymore, it's not a ready-made, it's really a sculpture by itself, so you can turn around and really see it. So since 10 years I'm working on paintings now. I did a big series for the Louvre, what is shown here in the museum, but I also did this special painting for the exhibition, based on the plum flower, what is a very important flower in Korean culture, but also in our European culture. It's the flower, the first who bloom after the winter. So it's really a flower who means a lot of hope, the fact the world is changing for a better period. And because I was painting this during COVID, for me it was really the way to express this idea of going out of this very stressful period for all the world. So it was a message of hope for me. And it's a monotap painting with ink on gold leaves, like the gold leaves you have in the trees, but this one it's not yellow gold, it's white gold. So it gives also the idea of mirror, of reflecting yourself inside the painting. And it's very important in the show, the idea of you can see yourself in the work. So the work absorbs you also. It's very inclusive artwork. So it's already started in the painting and then it will appear in the sculpture also. So here we are in the most important room of the exhibition because it's 10 years of work behind me. So it's the largest exhibition I did since 10 years. A series of different sculptures all mixed together as a big installation. So I want the people first to have this sort of emotion, very simple emotion, just to be overwhelmed a little bit by the beauty and the color and the rhythm and the lights. But when you start to look at the work by itself, each knot is really based on this idea of infinity, of cosmos. So it brings you to another level of contemplation with not just looking at an object, it's also looking at the infinity, at the sky, at the universe. And I discovered this very strong meaning in my work, working with a Mexican mathematician who helped me to develop this theory of reflection, what you can find in the work. So you can see yourself thousands of times and you can see also the work itself reflecting himself. It's a long journey you have behind me, and the Blue River, it's like the path of this journey. So it brings you all over those 10 years of work. It's the biggest installation I ever did using those bricks. There is more than 7,500 bricks installed, and it's each brick is hand blown, and so for each brick there is a breath of one glass blowers of a man. So I think it's also give also the idea of universality you can have in this show, what I really want to share with the public here in Korea. Working with bricks was things I discovered when I went to India, working with glass blowers. And I was very surprised that all along the road there is piles of bricks. So people, when they want to build their house, they start to dig the land, and then they buy bricks by bricks. And when they have enough bricks, they build their house. So for me it was piles of hope, piles of dream. So I try to make them very sensual, because everybody have his own dream. So every brick is a little bit different, because it's handmade, and it's also because it's natural pigment. So the color is slightly different from each one to each other. I want to bring people into a world of hope, also of enchantment. So I want they look at reality in a different way. So it's not the way to escape reality through a metaverse world. It's the idea to look at the real world and to find the beauty and you have in it. So it's really a different approach of this beautiful and shimmery world. It's our world. It's not a world we dream. It's just we rediscover this beauty and this pure enchantment you have in these materials. The first precious stone wall I did were just monochrome, like a pink, yellow, red. It's different colors, but it was more like altars, so things you were supposed to look. It was a way to cherish bricks were like stones, but precious, semi-precious, fake semi-precious stones, but also to cherish the movement LGBT stone walls who happened in the '69. So it was like a more statement, like something just monochrome or just one color. And this series, what is slightly different, it's a series I did during the COVID, during every day during the lockdown. I was trying to recovering, to find a new energy of creativity. So I decided every day to draw with the same number of bricks, with two different colors, another rhythm, to try to find new hope every day. So it was like a partition of music, in fact. So every day it's a new energy and new combination of color. So I drew all this during COVID, and then when COVID stopped, I went back to the studio, to the big studio, where I was able to build those sculpture, mixing the color with the bricks I have in my studio since long time. So it was a very important moment during those last year, a way to recover. The colors are very important for me in my work in general, in the watercolor, in the paintings now, or in the sculpture. You can see it's very colorful because it brings energy, in fact. And but those colors are made in India, so they are very sensual in a way. It's natural pigment, so they are slightly changing. So it gives something very intimate to the color. It's almost something you want to lick. It's something you want to eat. It's bring you to other emotion of your body, not the visual emotion, but also the taste, the flavor. So it's something I really love in those colors. We are very sensual. The world behind me, the Agora, is very important for me because it's sort of public art project. This idea of building a place where you can talk freely, where you can liberate the different talks you want, and to be protected by the artwork, so to be inside. So it's a piece, you have to interact with it, you have to enter, you can sit with 2 or 3 people and discuss. And my dream is to make it very bigger for the city outside and put it outside. And this idea of utopia is very important in my work. You can see it through all the show. It's a working for a better world, you know. So it's really the idea. So the Agora is really the synthesis of all those ideas of utopia and architecture and monumentality and theatrality, what is all in the show. So I'm really happy to show it here because I think it's something who can really connect with the people in Korea, this idea of interact with the artwork, what is important, I think, for the public here. And the other pieces are the oracles, and it's also for me a way to end the show with this idea of sometimes the artist himself don't really know what will happen, but he has this feeling, he has this ideas will come to him as something magical coming to you. And oracles are those people in different culture who can tell the future through looking at reality, looking at, for example, the wind in the trees, how the leaves can move. So people were reading those moves and give the future to the people. So it's linked also to the idea you're never sure about what's happened, and things can happen to you with hope, I think. So it's really the meaning of this last room was really a sign of new discovery, in fact.